Hello students, welcome to All Force e-learning channel. This is K. Nageshwar Rao, your physics faculty. Today we are about to deal with session number 53, first year NEET, projectile motion. In projectile motion, we have already completed oblique projectile motion, and we have started in the previous session, horizontal projectile motion. Few cases were discussed. Let us see what we can do today. So now let us deal with this situation. Let the body is projected at an angle theta in upward direction from the top of the tower. Okay, so this is how it is projected. There is a tower of height h. From the top of the tower, it is projected at an angle theta with the horizontal, with a initial velocity u. And this is the trajectory. Okay, so this is not a horizontal projectile motion, but it is projected from certain height. Unlike usually in the case of oblique projectile, what do? We actually project it from the ground, isn't it? But now this is a kind of oblique projectile, but which is projected from the top of the tower, from a raised platform, isn't it? So from this point to this point, the whole scenario is known to us. Time of flight 2u sin theta by g, maximum range u square sin 2 theta by g. Here corresponding to this particular curve, this particular distance is equal to u square sin square theta by 2g. These details are known to us. What about rest of the part? If at all, if you are supposed to calculate the total horizontal distance covered by the body, covered by the projectile, this x you need to find out, isn't it? So this situation is slightly different when compared to the previous situation. Okay, so let us talk about what kind of points we can explore in this situation. One thing I am interested is in how much time it reaches this point. That is known to us. This point is at the same level of with the point from where the body is projected, isn't it? So I will call this as point 1, 2. The third point is point where it is striking the ground. Okay, time of journey between first and second point is equal to how much? Is equal to time of flight, which is equal to 2u sin theta by g, corresponding to oblique projectile. Point 1 and 2 both are at the same level. Point 1 and 2 both are at the same level. And this distance, okay, it's a horizontal range, we can find out. But here, the horizontal distance, the total horizontal distance covered by the projectile is x. So let us try to find out what that x is. And before that, let us try to find out in how much time the body reaches this point 3, or in how much time after it is being projected from the top of the tower, in how much time it strikes the ground, which is nothing but time of flight. Let us try to find out that. See, during time of flight, what is the displacement, or displacement in vertical direction? I'm not talking about the total displacement. Total displacement would be, this is initial point, this is final position, right? I'm talking about displacement in vertical direction. Displacement in vertical direction will be equal to height of the tower. Displacement in vertical direction will be equal to height of the tower. So let us try to find out that displacement. Since S is equal to ut plus half at square, and I am interested to find out a displacement in vertical direction. Displacement in vertical direction is here minus h, isn't it? This is initial point, this is final point. So if you take this as origin and upward direction related all parameters, if you take them as positive, downward direction you can have negative values of the parameters. So here I am taking displacement as minus h since I am measuring in the downward direction, and with what initial velocity it is projected vertically in the upward direction, u sin theta. So what you have to write here, u, in fact here you will get uy, here it is sy, here it is ay. Okay, means we are dealing with the vertical direction. So all parameters, acceleration along vertical direction, initial velocity along vertical direction, displacement along vertical direction. That's what I meant to say. So sy is equal to minus h, uy is u sin theta into t, and ay, since it is projected in the upward direction, acceleration due to gravity will be taken as negative minus g, isn't it? So replace this ay with minus g, what you will have, half minus half g t square. And this equation can be shuffled like this. H is equal to u sin theta into t, minus half gt square. This particular equation matches with the tower model equation. where of course the body is projected vertically in the upward direction. So u sine theta, in place of u sine theta, we have in the tower model case, right? So if you simplify this equation, in tower model case we have simplified the equation, and time of flight we have calculated. Similarly here, if you simplify the equation, you will get time of flight. So whatever this t associated with this equation is there, that t is called as time of flight. Time of flight. Okay, right. Now, during this time of flight, how much is the horizontal distance covered by the body? Equal to h. And here also, whatever horizontal component of velocity is there, it remains constant everywhere. At point 2, what is the horizontal component of velocity? U sine theta. At a point 3, what is the horizontal component of velocity? It is also u cos theta. At point 2, what is the horizontal component of velocity? U cos theta. And at point 3 also it is u cos theta. It remains constant. Like in the case of oblique and horizontal projectile, the horizontal velocity, it doesn't change because it's perpendicular to acceleration due to gravity. It is not being controlled by the gravity. Only vertical components are influenced by the gravity. Okay, so right, so with the constant velocity along horizontal direction, how much distance the body has covered? Equal to x. Therefore, distance covered or horizontal range is equal to horizontal component of velocity ux into time of flight. This t is time of flight. Whatever value you will get from the above equation, that t you can replace it here directly. So ux is what? U cos theta. U cos theta into t. So this expression gives us total horizontal distance covered by the body in this case of kind of projection. Okay. Now, with what velocity it strikes the ground? Isn't it? That is also what one point we can explore. And here I'll take vertical component of velocity with which finally it is striking the ground. I'll take it as v by, and it is in the downward direction. Okay, if you are taking upward direction related velocity as positive, downward direction related velocities you can take them as negative. Okay, so let us first find out what vx and vy. No need to find out vx. We have been telling about this one. Horizontal component remains constant. So finally, here at the point of striking the ground, Vx is equal to what? Ux, isn't it? Vx is equal to Ux, and that Ux is equal to how much? U cos theta. So Vx is known to us at the point of striking. What about Vy? This Vy, I'll write it like this, see, minus Vy is equal to initial velocity of projection in the upward direction, Uy minus Gt, isn't it? It is upward, it is projected in the upward direction. V is equal to U plus At, A is replaced with minus G. Now, Vy is equal to minus, what is Uy? Uy is U sin theta, isn't it? U sin theta plus Gt, where T is time of flight, T is time of flight, right? So Vx and Vy both are known to us. Can we find what V is? V is equal to under root, you can express V as Vx I cap plus Vy j cap. So V magnitude will be under root Vx square plus Vy square. So V is equal to Vx square. How much is that? U square cos square theta plus, what about Vy? This is Vy, isn't it? It can be written like this, minus U sin theta plus Gt whole square. Further, this equation can be simplified, or in a simpler way, because t, we haven't concluded t yet. Okay, since this sin theta term is involved, we did not simplify that. Anyways, using since it is in the form of a quadratic equation, you can simplify that. If at all, if you wanted to express this Vy in terms of h, this is how it can be written: under root Uy square plus 2gh. Under root Uy square is what? U square sin square theta plus 2gh. And this is obtained from the equation v square is minus u square is equal to 2gh, or vy square is equal to uy square plus 2gh. From that equation, you can write this one. Okay, so like that, Vy can be expressed in terms of time of flight, in terms of what height also, height of the tower, you can express Vy. So if this equation is substituted directly in place of Vy, Okay, you will get a more simplified form. I'll show you that. Or this can also be written as under root. If you replace this term here in place of Vy, when you take square of this one, what you will have? U square sin square theta plus 2gh, right? So let me write it here. U square cos square theta plus square of this one, U square sin square theta plus 2gh. And further, if you take out U square common, sin square theta plus cos square theta, it's 1. So finally, you can have this kind of equation, U square plus 2gh. So this is the velocity with which it strikes the ground. This V is how much? Under root U square plus 2gh. Under root U square plus 2gh. And the components of velocities are, one is U cos theta, the other one is V by. V by can be expressed in terms of time of flight like this. In terms of height of the tower from where the body is projected, you can express like this, under root U square sin square theta plus 2gh. And the last point that we can talk about is the alpha value, the angle at which it strikes the ground. You can take tan alpha. Tan alpha, how this tan alpha can be written? Tan alpha can be written as Vy by Vx. Vy, you can imagine here, so opposite side by adjacent side is Vx. So Vy by Vx. Okay, what is Vy? Vy is minus u sin theta plus gt. Minus u sin theta plus gt. By, what is Vx? U cos theta. So from this, alpha can be written as tan inverse of minus u sin theta plus gt by u cos theta. That's how it can be written. Or in terms of this V by, or how it can be written? Tan inverse of V by in terms of h. Okay, how it can be written? Under root u square sin square theta plus 2gh divided by, what is horizontal component? U cos theta. So like this, in terms of h and in terms of time of flight, you can express. So these are the details that we can explore connected with this one. So here, what was done? The body is projected at some angle with the horizontal, not from the ground, from the top of the tower. And from this point to this point, no worries, we know everything, all the parameters connected with this kind of a parabolic path can be dealt. But beyond this point, so far we haven't explored. And this is how the details can be handled connected with this kind of motion. The total horizontal distance traveled is equal to how much? U cos theta into t. Okay, if at all, if you wanted to find out only this horizontal distance, the horizontal distance between point 1 and 2, simply replace this time of flight with what? 2u sin theta by g. You will get u square sin 2 theta by g, which is nothing but our horizontal range in case of usual oblique projectile motion, isn't it? So let us proceed with one more possible situation. Okay, now let us talk about this case. Now the body is projected at an angle theta in downward direction. Earlier it was projected at an angle theta in the upward direction. Now at an angle theta it is projected in the downward direction. Okay, so this is how the situation looks like. From the top of a tower of height h, it is projected at an angle theta with the horizontal with the initial velocity u. And that velocity is resolved into two components: horizontal component of velocity u cos theta, vertical component of velocity u sin theta. And this horizontal component of velocity, it remains constant, isn't it? It doesn't change. So let us see what we can do. What we can think of the basic parameters connected with these kind of motions. One is horizontal distance covered, the time of flight, final velocity with which it strikes the ground, what is the final vertical component of velocity, at what angle it strikes the ground. So these are few points of our interest. So let us try to explore one by one. So here there is when you look at the vertical components, there is no any upward velocity here and downward velocity, like that. Two different directions are not there, only one single direction is there. Only in the downward direction you are having velocity component, right? So initially the body doesn't have any velocity in the upward direction. So it's like in one direction it is traveling. It's like if you drop a body with the initial velocity is 0, what happens? It travels in the downward direction, slowly it gains velocity. If you project a body in the downward direction with a velocity, in that case, let us say if a body is projected in the downward direction with a velocity u, what is the final velocity acquired? V square is equal to u square plus 2gh. V is equal to under root u square plus 2gh. That's what you will be writing. So here you can imagine this situation as if the body is projected downwards with a velocity equal to u sine theta. If that is the case, very easily you can find out Vy. Okay, so let us try to explore one by one. First of all, let us try to find out time of flight. Okay, to find out the time of flight, I am going to make use of this vertical displacement. Vertical displacement, again, how much is that? H, isn't it? Since H is equal to uyt plus half gt square. Therefore, uy is what? U sine theta into t plus half gt square is equal to h. So, using this equation, you can find out the time of flight. And here, I am not taking minus h like in the earlier case, because in only one direction the velocities are there. There are no any two different directions. When there are two different directions, you have to go for what sign convention to distinguish both the directions, isn't it? So here h can be directly written as u sine theta t plus half gt square. Okay, this is vertical displacement. What is this? Displacement along vertical direction. And if you simplify this equation, what you will get? You will get time of flight. So where t is time of, if you observe very carefully from horizontal moment to motion discussion onwards, to find out the t, we are completely relying on h only. In case of horizontal motion, what was the time of flight equation? We have derived t is equal to under root 2 h by g, isn't it? So whatever time it takes to travel in the vertical direction, in the same time, it covers the horizontal distance and it reaches the point where it is supposed to strike, isn't it? So whatever time it takes to cover vertical distance h, in the case of horizontal motion, that is the time of flight. And here also we are relying on that h parameter only. Okay, whatever time it takes to cover this vertical displacement, you can call it as time of flight. If time of flight is t, then can't you find x during this time of flight in the horizontal direction, how much distance it is traveling? X. So therefore, horizontal distance traveled by the body is x equal to, horizontal component of velocity, how much is that? Ux, time of flight. Ux is u cos theta. This particular, horizontal distance calculation is quite obvious, quite similar to previous cases. In case of oblique projectile, in case of horizontal projectile, in case of upward projection from the top of the tower, in the case of downward projection from the top of the tower, everywhere we are using this kind of equation only. X is equal to u cos theta into t, where t is time of flight. Now, the other parameters that we can talk about is here. Let us say here, the horizontal component of velocity is Vx, which is nothing but ux, which is nothing but u cos theta. It doesn't change, right? Let us say it is striking the ground like this. Let vertical component of velocity be Vy. Let us try to find out what Vy and Vx are. Okay. Let us say it is striking the ground at an angle alpha. Okay. So here, at the point of striking the ground, what is Vx? Vx is nothing but ux, which is nothing but u cos theta. What about Vy? Vy is equal to, how it can be written? In the downward direction, what is the initial velocity? Uy plus gt. Like this you can write. And uy is what? Uy is equal to u sine theta plus gt. So that's how vertical component can be written. And in terms of h, Vy square is equal to uy square plus 2gh. So Vy is equal to under root, this uy square can be written as, what is the initial component of velocity along the vertical direction? U sine theta. So uy square is equal to u square sine square theta plus 2gh. So that's how vertical components can be expressed. So once Vx and Vy are known to us, we can write V, the velocity with which it strikes the ground. Therefore, velocity with which projectile strikes the ground is, how it can be written, v is equal to under root vx square plus vy square. Vx square u square cos square theta plus, I will take this one, vy square is what? Square root gets cancelled. You will have u square sin square theta plus 2gh. Therefore, under root u square, if you take out common, you will have cos square theta plus sin square theta, which is equal to 1. U square plus 2gh is the, what, under root u square plus 2gh is the velocity with which it strikes the ground. The other point that we can explore is the angle at which it strikes the ground. Take this to tan alpha. Tan alpha is equal to vertical component by horizontal component, isn't it? If you are measuring angle with the horizontal, that's how you will be writing. Okay, if at all, if you are measuring angle made with the vertical, Vx by Vy. Okay, so Vy is what? This is Vy under root u square sin square theta plus 2gh by Vx is u cos theta. So alpha is equal to tan inverse of this. That gives us angle at which it strikes the ground. So these are some points, important points connected with this one. So upward direction, upward projected body from the top of the tower, downward projected body from the top of the tower. And now let us talk about projecting a body up an inclined plane. Let us see what points we can explore here. Okay, so now let us discuss about this one. Motion of a projected body on an inclined plane. So I have taken one inclined plane. We have already discussed about inclined plane in vectors. There, how the force of gravity experienced by a mass m can be resolved into components, that was discussed. Okay, so this is what inclined plane is. Okay, the angle of inclination of the plane is beta. Angle of inclination of plane is beta. Acceleration due to gravity always acts in the downward direction, right? Like this, vertically in the downward direction. So from geometry, if this angle is beta, this angle can also be proved to be as beta. Okay. Now this g is making an angle beta with this direction. So this can be resolved into two components. One is g cos beta. Along this direction, it will be cos component, right? The direction with which it is making angle, along that direction, we will have cos component. And along this direction, we will have sine component, g sine beta. This is one point that you should know. And here, whatever thing is happening, to understand that, I have taken one coordinate system as reference. This is positive x direction, this is positive y direction. Okay, so along this direction x components exist, along this direction y component exists. If this is positive, opposite to this one will be negative x direction, opposite to this y will be negative y direction. Okay, so let us proceed with this upward projected motion on an inclined plane with this fundamental data. Okay, now see here, this is the angle of inclination of the plane, and this alpha is angle with which the body is projected up the plane, and this angle alpha is angle made with the horizontal. Okay, if at all, if you wanted to find out angle made by this initial velocity vector with the inclined plane, how much that angle will be? Angle made with the plane, with the inclined plane, how much it would be? Alpha minus beta, isn't it? This one. So now you can consider this situation as a body is projected with a velocity u, making an angle alpha minus beta with the inclined plane. If that is the case, you can talk about x component, I'll take it as ux, and y component, I'll take it as uy. And this ux can be written as u cos of angle made by this initial velocity with the x direction. With the x direction, how much angle it is making? Alpha minus beta. I'm talking about this angle. Okay, I'm not representing here, it becomes clumsy. So this is the angle alpha minus beta. So ux is equal to what? U cos alpha minus beta. That's how the cos component can be written. Similarly, uy is equal to u sin alpha minus beta. Unlike in the case of oblique projectile, here there is the acceleration in horizontal direction. Horizontal direction in the sense not this one. Parallel to the inclined plane. Parallel to the inclined plane, there is acceleration. If at all, if you consider component of this velocity along this direction, along horizontal direction, that component won't change. Along, if you take a component of this velocity along the direction of x-axis or along the inclined plane, it experiences acceleration. Its velocity changes. So how much is that acceleration? Let us try to find out. Ax, acceleration along x direction. Along x direction, is there any g acting? No, acceleration due to gravity is not there. Along a minus x direction, it is acting. How much is that? G sine beta. See, if the body is moving in the upward direction, in which direction it experiences acceleration due to gravity? In the downward direction, isn't it? Similarly, when the body is traveling along this direction, it is experiencing acceleration due to gravity in the opposite direction, in the negative x direction. This is positive x, this is negative x. So ax can be written as minus g sine beta. This minus sign is taken because acceleration is opposite to this positive x direction, that is along negative x direction. So I'll take this ax as minus g sine beta. And similarly ay is along the negative y direction, so minus g cos beta. So now we have identified what horizontal components of acceleration and velocity are, vertical components of acceleration and velocity are. Now let us proceed with usual things like time of flight and range. Okay, let us first try to find out what time of flight is. Before I start with the time of flight, I want you to understand one more point. If you take this as initial point, this as final point, okay, along y direction, what is the displacement? There is no any displacement, it's zero, isn't it, along y direction? How? For example, if you take an oblique projectile, let us say it was projected from here, it is striking here. How much is the distance traveled, or how much is the vertical displacement in this case? Zero, because initial and final positions both are at the same level. So vertical displacement will be zero. So with this understanding, let us proceed. Here, Sy is equal to Uyt, what? Plus, what you can take? Half, I'm talking about vertical, right? Vertical displacement, Ayt square. That's how you can write. And Sy is, it's 0. Along vertical direction, it's 0. Vertical displacement corresponding to points O and A, corresponding to points O and A. If at all, if you are imagining an object somewhere here, there will be some vertical displacement, it won't be 0. Okay, so that I mentioned here. So vertical displacement corresponding to point O and A is 0. Uy is what? Uy is U sine alpha minus beta. Ay, it's negative, right? Minus half g cos beta into t square. Now this equation can be shuffled like this. Bring this term towards what? LHS side. Then what you will have? G cos beta into t square by 2 is equal to u sine alpha minus beta. U sine alpha minus beta. Therefore, here t is also there, t, isn't it? Let us write it here. T gets cancelled, therefore t is equal to 2u sine alpha minus beta by g cos beta. So this is the expression for time of flight. That is the expression for time of flight. See here, if you consider this as a usual projectile motion, like from the horizontal, it is not projected up the plane. Okay, if that is the situation, imagine here, I will bring this inclined plane parallel to the horizontal. Then what happens? Beta becomes 0. Beta becomes 0. Let me tell you again. I will bring this inclined plane horizontal to the surface. Then what will be the value of beta? Beta will be 0. If you replace beta with 0, cos beta is 1. Here replace beta with 0. Then we will have just a sine alpha. 2u sine alpha by g. That's what you are going to get. And that's what our time of flight is in case of oblique projectile, 2u sine alpha by g, isn't it? So if this is reduced to our usual form, okay, usual form in the sense this kind of form, okay, whatever parameters we have already explored, all those parameters can be realized in this situation also. So remember students, this is the time of flight corresponding to what in projecting body of the inclined plane. Okay, t is equal to 2u sine alpha minus beta by g cos beta. Now let us try to find out range, horizontal range. See, horizontal range along the plane, horizontal, what I meant to say is parallel to this x direction, okay, horizontal range along x axis or along the inclined plane is how much here? It's OA, right? OA. So let us try to find out this OA. Horizontal range along x axis, it's OA, is equal to OA. Okay. So how this can be calculated? Now look at this right angle triangle. In this right angle triangle, OA is hypotenuse. This is what edges inside, right? So cos beta can be written as OC by OA. That implies OA is equal to OC by cos beta. OC by cos beta. Now let us try to find out what OC is. Okay. So to find out OC, what I'm going to make use of is, time of flight equation. Just now we have derived time of flight equation, right? 2u sine alpha minus beta by g cos beta. So during this time, along this direction, how much distance the body is covering, a distance equal to OC, isn't it? And with what velocity it is covering? Since this u is making an angle alpha with the horizontal direction, along this direction, what component you can imagine? You can imagine u cos alpha, isn't it? So with a velocity equal to u cos alpha, it is covering a distance equal to OC during time of flight. And whatever this u cos alpha is there, it remains constant. This is a horizontal component of velocity, parallel to the ground, not parallel to the inclined plane. So here, this OC can be written as horizontal component of velocity along along this direction is how much? U cos alpha into time of flight. Time of flight is what? Time taken with the body to reach from point O to point A. During that time, along this direction, how much distance it has covered? It has covered a distance equal to OC. If I can manage to calculate OC, I will be able to calculate OA. OA is what? Horizontal range parallel to the inclined plane. Okay, so u cos alpha into t. U cos alpha, what is t? 2u sine alpha minus beta by g cos beta, right? Now, if it is simplified, now what you will get? OC is equal to 2u square sine alpha minus beta into cos alpha by g cos beta. Let us replace it here so that we will get the OA value. Therefore, in the present case, range is equal to what? OA. OA is equal to OC by cos beta. OC is this one. 2u square sine alpha minus beta into cos alpha by g cos beta by cos beta. Okay, then what you will have? You will have square here. So this is the expression for range parallel to the inclined plane. What is that? 2u square sine alpha minus beta into cos alpha by g cos square beta. Okay, so let us try to express the same equation in some other form, because usually we see both the forms. Okay, so this is the equation that we have obtained for range along the inclined plane, OE. Okay, so there are questions connected with this OC also. Anyways, OC equation is also derived here. It is 2u square sine alpha minus beta into cos alpha by g cos beta, and range is this one. Okay, so let us try to slightly modify this one, because usually we see two different forms of equations. Just now I said So in this equation, I'm going to consider 2 sine alpha minus beta cos alpha separately. Okay, consider 2 sine alpha minus beta into cos alpha. Okay, now how this can be modified? This is equal to 2 sine alpha minus beta. It can be expressed as sine alpha cos beta minus cos alpha sine beta into cos alpha. This is a formula from trigonometry. Sin A minus B is written as sin A cos B minus cos A sin B. Okay, so let us simplify this further. Sin alpha cos beta minus cos square alpha sin beta. Let me take this 2 also into the bracket. Then what you will have? 2 here, here also 2. What is 2 sin alpha cos alpha? It is known to us sin 2 alpha into cos beta minus 2 cos square alpha. How this 2 cos square alpha can be written? 2 cos square alpha. See, cos 2 theta is equal to cos square theta minus sin square theta, isn't it? So from here, cos square theta minus, this can be written as 1 minus cos square theta. Okay, if you multiply minus, then you will have minus 1 plus cos square theta, or 1 plus cos 2 theta is equal to 2 cos square theta. So 2 cos square theta can be expressed as 1 plus cos 2 theta, right? So 2 cos square alpha can be expressed as 1 plus cos 2 alpha into sin beta. Okay, so let us further simplify this. Sin 2 alpha cos beta minus cos 2 alpha sin beta minus sin beta. Okay, it is multiplied into the bracket, and from this side negative sign is also multiplied. Now look at this one. Sin A cos B minus cos A sin B is what? Sin A minus B. So sin 2 alpha minus beta minus sin beta. I want you to remember this one. Sin A minus B is expressed as sin A cos B minus cos A sin B. Okay, this is what? This is equal to 2 sin alpha minus beta into cos alpha. So let us replace this 2 sin alpha minus beta into cos alpha with this one. So what you will get, therefore, range along the inclined plane can be written as u square sin 2 alpha minus beta minus sin beta whole divided by g cos square beta. So this is also another expression. So that's how details connected with the motion of a projected body on an inclined plane can be dealt with. So let us see how these equations get modified if you are projecting down the plane from the top of inclined plane. From here, if you project the body down the plane, how these equations gets modified. We'll see what the equations, okay, how those equations gets modified. We have dealt with time of flight, horizontal range, isn't it? And horizontal components of velocities along the plane, vertical components of velocities along the plane, acceleration experienced by the body along the plane and perpendicular to the plane. These are the details that we have explored. Let us see how these details will change in case of body projected from inclined plane downwards. Okay, let us see those things. So now let us compare both the situations. So here the body is projected up the plane, and here the body is projected down the plane. And to understand everything, this is the coordinate system that you can take reference. Positive x, positive y, and here positive x, positive y. Okay, and let us compare parameters in both the cases. Here we have already explored the details very clearly. Similar procedure can be followed here to obtain the values of time of flight and range along the plane. So ux here, it is u cos alpha minus beta along this direction, right? And uy is u sin alpha minus beta, because this angle is alpha minus beta. Ax, ay we have seen already. Ax, it is down the plane opposite to this positive axis, so minus g sin beta, and along negative y direction we have y component of acceleration, which is minus g cos beta. And here see, ux, u cos alpha plus beta. Obviously, along this direction, if you are trying to find out cos component, how much angle this initial velocity of projection is making with this direction, alpha plus beta. So u cos alpha plus beta is the x component. Y component is along this direction. It will be u sine alpha plus beta. And the ax is g sine beta along this direction, ax along positive direction, g sine beta. Ay, in both the cases ay is same, minus g cos beta, here also minus g cos beta. And time of flight, here up the plane, in case of up the plane, it is 2u sine alpha minus beta by g cos beta, and down the plane it is 2u sine alpha plus beta, minus and plus. Okay, and the range is u square sine 2 alpha minus beta minus sine beta by g cos square beta, and here this is the range in case of projection from the top of the plane. Okay, down the plane, plus signs will appear, right? U square sine 2 alpha plus beta, here 2 alpha minus beta, plus sine beta, here minus sine beta by g cos square beta. Okay, so these are the details connected with the projectile motion over an inclined plane. Okay, in the next session we'll discuss about few problems connected with these details. With this I will close the session. Thank you, students.